Good day everyone, I'm Shane Eliza Santiago and I'm here with Kiana Marie Datlan. We're here to present to you the Asian regionalism.
So, our objective for today is to differentiate between regionalization and globalization. The second one is to identify the factors leading to a greater integration of the Asian region. Analyze how the different Asian states confronts the challenges of globalization and regionalization. And the last one, we define what is intra-regional trade and ASEAN.
What do we mean by regionalism? A political ideology that favors a specific region over a greater area. It usually happens because of political separations, religion, geography, cultural boundaries, linguistic regions, and managerial
Excuse me.
divisions. In short, it's the economic cooperation and economic arrangement of group of countries aimed of facilitating or enhancing regional integration.
So, what is the difference of regionalism and globalization? I assume po na all of us are familiar with the definition of globalization since um, this was our first lesson that Sir April discussed to us, and it is the first word we have encountered in this subject, contemporary world. Regionalism is a process of dividing an area into a smaller segment called region. So when we say regionalism, it's easy to say na it is the division of area. And globalization is a process by which the people of the world are unified into a single society and function together. And basically, ang sabi nga sa globalization, there is interconnectedness of people, there is interrelation, and there is association.
Here is another concept of regionalism. What is regionalism? It is the theory or practice of regional rather than central systems of administration of economic, culture, or political affiliation. Basically, the goal here is to increase their political power and influence in other regions. So instead of having centralized government and instead of having centralized administrations, regionalism is meron pong ina-assign or meron pong head or designated head sa bawat regions. And we also have regionalization. When we say regionalization, it is the division of a nation into a state of or provinces. Why countries form regional organization? They form regional organization as a way of coping with the challenges or globalization.
So the focus of our report is all about Asian regionalism. So when we say Asian regionalism, it is a product of economic interaction between Asian countries. Asian regionalism is not an political planning, but rather it is an economic interaction between Asian countries. So when we say Asian, we are referring to the people from Asia, of course. So as a result of successful outward orientation growth strategies of these Asian countries, Asian economics have grown not only richer but also closer together. As they say, they are unity in diversity. For the example of unity and diversity is the ASEAN, or the Association of Southeast Asian Nations. Because when we say diversity kasi, it means differences.
So why is Asia considered the continent of diversity? It is because people in Asia have different cultures, they have different customs and traditions, they have different religion and beliefs, and also they have different governments. As Asia, economics have grown larger and more complex. They also have become more integrated. So in what way? Through trade, financial flows, direct investments, and other forms of economic and social exchange. Now, as a Asian, economics are becoming closely intertwined. When we say intertwined, magkaugnay, we have to remember na this is not because the religion's development strategy has changed. It still remains predominantly non-discriminatory and outward orientation.
So, our next concept, we have the regionalization versus globalization. Na-define na po kanina ang regionalization, which means the process of dividing an area into smaller segments called region. Example is the division of nation into provinces. And a good example of this is the business. They use regionalization as a total in um, management. On the other hand naman, we have globalization. So we have defined this term for so many times already. So again, globalization is the process of internal integration arising from the interchange of worldviews, products, ideas, and other aspects such as technology and many more. So let's try to compare regionalization versus globalization in terms of nature. So as to nature, globalization promotes the integration of economics across state borders all around the world, but regionalization is precisely the opposite because it is dividing an area into smaller smaller segments. So, no. Smaller segments. So, because it's dividing into smaller segments, ang sabi nga dati sa globalization, it is borderless or walang hangganan. And as to market naman, globalization allows many companies to trade on international level, so it allows free market, but in regionalization system, monopolies are likely to develop. Ano nga ba ang pinagkaiba ng regionalization and globalization sa market? Globalization allows many companies to trade on international level, so it allows free market. Therefore, sa globalization merong free market na tinatawag, but in regionalization system, monopolies are likely to develop. So, when we say monopolies in economics, a monopoly is a single seller. Isa lang yung nagbebenta ng isang good or ng services. There is no competition na nangyayari at syempre solo niya lang. Siya lang ang nagtitinda and wala siyang kalaban.
As to cultural and social relations naman, globalization accelerates to multiculturalism by free and inexpensive movement of people, but regionalization does not support this. So when we say multiculturalism, it's the view of cultures, races, and ethnicities, particularly those of minority groups, deserve as self-acknowledgement of their differences within a dominant political culture. Nakabaliktaran naman sa regionalization, hindi sila ina-acknowledge yung multiculturalism. As to aid, globalized international community is also more willing to come to aid of a country stricken by natural disaster. But a regionalized system does not get involved in the affairs of the other areas. Sa globalized naman o sa globalization, they are willing to help. Pwede silang magsabi ng financial aid, particularly doon sa mga bansa na nagsuffer o nakaranas ng natural disaster. Pero sa regionalization, kasi hindi sila nangingialam, hindi sila nag-o-offer ng aid or ng tulong.
Excuse me. So, dun sa technological advances naman, globalization has driven great advances in the technology, but advanced technology is rarely available in one country or region. Therefore, sa globalization, there is already advancement of technology. Pero sa regionalization, parang ang tawag dito, nalilate o kung madaling sabihin is wala pang advancement of technology.
So, moving on the factors leading to the greater integration of the Asian regions.
Rational integration is a process in which neighboring states enter to an agreement in order to upgrade cooperation through common institutions and rules. Basically, the regional integration is a process by which two or more countries agree to cooperate and work closely together to achieve peace, sustainability, and wealth.
The objective of the agreement could range from economic to political to environmental, although it has typically taken the form of political economic initiative. So in this part naman, commercial interests are the focus for achieving border, social, political, and security objectives.
So, again, regional integration has been organized either via supranational institutional structures or through intergovernmental decision making or a combination of both. So, how do we define supranational institutional? A supranational organization excuse me, is an administrative structure that goes beyond the boundaries of a state. It is my multinational union or association in which member countries cede authorities and sovereignty or simply means they surrender their powers and sovereignty on at least some internal matters to the group whose decisions are binding on its member. So, on the other hand naman, when we say intergovernmental or the intergovernmentalism, it refers to arrangement whereby the nations or the countries in any situations and condition they can control, and they can make decisions and cooperate with one another on matters of common interest.
So, past efforts of rational integration were often focused on removing barriers to free trade in the regions, increasing the free movements of people, labor, goods, and capital across national borders, reducing the possibilities of regional armed conflict, and adopting cohesive regional stances on policy issues such as on the environment, climate change, and migration. These are the actions done by the regional integration.
So, we are about to discuss the intra-regional trade. So, what is intra-regional trade? Intra-regional trade refers to a trade which focuses on economic exchange primarily between countries of the same region or economic zone. For example, Southeast Asia. Kabilang dito ang Philippines, Malaysia, Singapore. So, pag nagkaroon ng trading o pakikipagpalitan o pakikipagkalakalan ng mga bansang ito, there is that we call intra-regional trade.
In the recent years, countries within economic trade regions such as ASEAN in Southeast Asia, for example, have increased the level of trade and commodity exchange between themselves, which reduce the inflation and tariff barrier associated with foreign markets, resulting in growing prosperity. So what is ASEAN? ASEAN stands for Association of Southeast Asian Nations, and it is a regional group that promotes economic, political, and security cooperation among its 10 members. So ano nga ba ang mga bansang kabilang sa ASEAN? ASEAN, Southeast Asian. So yung mga countries sa Southeast Asia ang mga kasali dito. So we have Brunei, Cambodia, Indonesia, Laos, Malaysia, Myanmar, Philippines, Singapore, Thailand, and Vietnam.
So, what is the purpose of the ASEAN? ASEAN's purpose is to promote economic and cultural exchange among its member countries, maintain peace and stability in Southeast Asia, and establish a relationship with foreign powers with similar aims. So, that explains our lecture about Asian regionalism. We hope that you learned something new today. Again, this is Kiana Marie Datlag and I am with Shane Eliza Santiago. Have a great day ahead. Thank you for listening. Goodbye!